everyone, it's Julie here from Purpose Wellbeing, and I'm continuing with my week of menopause videos because this week has been World Menopause Day. So today we're concentrating on the pelvic floor, and unfortunately our pelvic floor muscles can decline with age and a sedentary lifestyle. And just like other muscles that get affected by the lack of estrogen as we go through the menopause, the pelvic floor gets affected by that as well. And you would think nothing of going to the gym and doing a leg day. Well, I challenge you to start going to the gym and thinking about your pelvic floor and having a pelvic floor day. So here are a few poses that will help strengthen your pelvic floor. And you'll notice that I'm in a kneeling position. I'm starting in a kneeling position, which is Virasana, hero pose. So this helps to increase the blood circulation in the pelvis, and it strengthens the pelvic floor muscles. You've got to be really careful if you've got any ankle or knee problems. You might need a blanket underneath the knees. You might not be able to sit on the feet, just depending on how your ankles and knees are. But you can also put a blanket or a block underneath the bottom to make it a little bit better. And it's a really good pose is this if you're meditating, because it gets the spine nice and upright. And Parker wants to come and say hello and get in on the video. So that's our first one, Virasana. So we're going to move now to Utkatasana, which is our standing pose, mountain pose. So if you want to make this pose stronger, particularly for the pelvic floor, you can take a block and put it between the thighs, because what you're doing then is you're making sure that you're engaging the thighs and the glute muscles, and the glute muscles are the ones that help the pelvic floor as well. So in Utkatasana, we run through all four corners of the feet. We pull up on the kneecaps and thighs. We roll the shoulder blades down the back and the palms face forward. And you've got that really good grounding feeling all the way through the body, down through the feet. If you can hear something, it's the dog dropping his ball. I do apologise. So what I'm doing here is really squeezing this block that's between the thighs so that I'm activating the thighs and the glutes. And you can also pull up on the pelvic floor muscles while you're here as well. So this is our Utkatasana. And from Utkatasana, we're going to move into chair pose, Utkatasana. This is really good for strengthening the pelvic floor because it stretches on the way down and then it contracts and lifts on the way up. So what we do is we start in Utkatasana. We're going to bend the knees. I'm going to turn around so that you can see this a little bit better. So we bend the knees and the knees come over the feet. You're grounding through all four corners of the feet. The back doesn't want to be too arched. The tailbone wants to go down to the floor. I'm going to breathe in. I'm going to lift the arms out front. Palms parallel and facing each other. And breathe in again. And if your shoulders are okay and you've got the range of movement, we're going to bring the hands in line with the ears. Again, the palms are facing forward. So this is chair pose and it's called fierce pose because you're reaching up as well as reaching down at the same time. So what this does is it strengthens the pelvic floor because it stretches on the way down here, and then as we come back up to Utkatasana, we're going to push through the feet and bring the arms down and the pelvic floor lifts. So as you're coming back up, make sure you're lifting the pelvic floor. So to go down, you're going to bend the knees, raise the arms, stay here for about 5 or 10 seconds. And then as we come back up, we're going to lift the pelvic floor, pushing through those feet. So you can do this with a block or without a block. If you're doing it without a block, you might want to just have the feet a little bit closer together and the legs touching. Without a block, it's going to be the same action. We're going to come down. We can leave the hands on the hips if shoulders are an issue for us. If not, we're raising them up as high as is comfortable for us. Staying here for a few breaths. And then coming back up and lifting those pelvic floor muscles as you do. So that was Utkatasana, our chair pose. And the next pose that we're going to do is Malasana, which is a yogic squat. So we're going to take our feet out wide to the edge of the mat, toes pointing outwards. And then we're just going to come down and see if we can get to the floor. You might get to a block, you might be sat on a block. We want to have the spine nice and tall. And what this does is, as the pelvic reaches down towards the floor, it actually lengthens and stretches all of the pelvic floor muscles. You can't see anything because the dog's in front. There we go. So this is our Malasana squat. Really good for opening up the pelvic area. And we're just going to finally finish off with Utkatasana, which is cobbler's pose, where we put the feet together. We let the knees drop out to the side. If that's uncomfortable, you can place a block under each of the knees. So this is cobbler's pose, originating from India, and all the cobblers in India sit at the side of the road in this kind of pose. And what they say is that there are no cobblers in India that have any urinary tract infections, because this is the pose that helps with all that urinary side of it and the pelvic area. So there aren't any Indian cobblers with any urinary tract infections. And unfortunately, as we get older, particularly ladies, we get prone to urine infections. And that can cause lots of issues for us. It's quite debilitating, and you know, there's a number of people who have to take antibiotics on a regular basis because of recurring urine infections in older age. So this again is a really good one to do. Even when you're sat here watching TV, just sit with the feet together, legs dropping out to the side, and if you practice this pose for a while, you will notice that your knees start to get much lower towards the floor. So that's it for today. That is our yoga lesson for the pelvic floor to help with the menopause. And as I said, I challenge you, have a pelvic floor day instead of a leg day today. Can't find where to turn the camera off now.